ready to question everything? Tune in.
Welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. As always, I'm your host, Robert.
And I'm your co-host, Crew.
And tonight, we're going over Hollyweird Part 4. And what we'll be hitting on tonight is mostly the music industry and how it affects the people around it. What's going on, Julie? How are you tonight? So, Crew, what's the biggest part of the music industry that you think affects everybody in this evil, ritualistic way?
Okay, so here's the problem about the music industry, right? They don't care about the people who represent them. They're only about making that money and seeing how far they can push said person to make them big, and they get more of a percentage than the artist, and that's just really sickening to watch.
The only person who really made it past that was Michael Jackson. He actually ended up owning half of Sony instead of Sony owning half of him.
Mm-hmm.
But in my personal opinion, I think that's why they killed him.
Yeah.
So when I think about the music industry and I think about the craziness around it, some of the biggest ones that come to mind are Kanye West, Britney Spears, Travis Scott, probably Lil Wayne, Cardi B. Who?
Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, Justin Timberlake and Justin Bieber.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your opinion, who has been affected the most by the Hollywood elites that is in the music industry? Who's had the worst outrun? I'd say Britney Spears has a pretty good standing for like the worst treated person in the music industry, but I'd say that Justin Bieber is a pretty close runner.
Well, okay, obviously Britney Spears, but if you want to really take the cake when it comes to the music industry, I'm going to name 3 names who are no longer with us. Little Peep.
Yeah.
Juice WRLD.
Yeah.
XXXTentacion.
Well, XXXTentacion was killed by robbery. He was at a four-wheeler shop going to buy a new ATV where he was robbed by or actually shot and killed, an attempted robbery on XXXTentacion, who it was a rival gang that knew where he was at the time that he was. So I don't know if his death is inherently owned by the music industry, but I will say that he definitely had some views about music and things that the industry probably did not like too much.
And then I'm going to add 2 more because I forgot about these 2. Dad. Tupac and Biggie.
Well, if you're gonna do that, then there's three. There's Tupac, Biggie, and Eazy-E.
Yeah, Easy. We can't forget about Easy. Most definitely on that one. And then also Amy Winehouse.
Yeah. Amy Winehouse, that's a sad one. That's a sad one because I loved Amy's music. I loved her music.
The sad part about it though is the music industry and Hollywood in general got to her mental health, and she took her own life because of it.
She was wasn't it something crazy? Like they found her like at one point running around like London in just her underwear.
Yeah,
she was like outside running around. Crazy. I think in the music industry, MK Ultra is a big thing. Is a huge thing. Like, for instance, Britney Spears, that's an MK Ultra sex kitten. If I've ever seen one, that's Britney Spears. Same thing with people like Erica Kirk, for real. MK Ultra right there, bro. I truly believe that MK Ultra has Erica Kirk in the palm of their hand. The CIA never stopped doing MK Ultra. They claimed they stopped. They claimed it failed, but no, it didn't fail. Had it failed, then Charles Manson would have never been a thing. Go read the book Chaos. It talks all about MK Ultra and Charles Manson. It's one of the best books I've ever read in my life, and it's so hauntingly perfect that it's a read that will stay with you forever.
Like, okay, perfect example with Charles Manson, right? The movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's a really good perfect example because that movie explains it all.
Well, also, Helter Skelter by the Beatles. Manson wrote Helter Skelter on Sharon Tate's wall after they killed Sharon Tate and ripped her baby out of her. That really happened. Absolutely disgusting.
And then this is not music related, but this is health issues related with Hollywood. Okay. So remember when we were younger, the mother and son who both passed away around the same exact time? So she was in the hospital bed, right?
Yeah.
And she wakes up and her son is dead in the chair. And it shows it on video in the hospital where she wakes up and she sees her son dead on the chair and he's like in his 20s, right? And she freaks out and starts crying. And then she was married to some older dude. And then she died like shortly, not too long after.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
It sounds familiar, but I can't put names to the story.
Look it up on Grok. Can't think of her name right now.
I'm looking it up right now. And it's Anna Nicole Smith.
And that's who. Okay.
Yeah. So her son, Daniel Wayne Smith, in September of 2006, Anna Nicole Smith, the former Playboy model and reality TV star, had just given birth to her daughter, Danny Lynn, in Doctors Hospital in Nassau in the Bahamas. Her 20-year-old son, Daniel Wayne Smith, flew in to visit her and see the new baby. He spent time in her hospital room and was found slumped, appearing asleep in a chair there. Anna woke up, noticed him unresponsive in the chair, and called for help. Hospital staff attempted CPR and other revival measures, but he was pronounced dead. The cause was later determined to be an accidental overdose involving a combination of drugs, including a lethal amount of methadone, with other substances like antidepressants, benzodiazepines were also present. And Anna Nicole was so devastated by her son's death, she was heavily sedated afterward and expressed profound grief. She died herself about 5 months later in February 2007 from an accidental drug overdose, with many attributing her rapid decline in part due to the heartbreak over her son, Daniel. Yeah, so Anna Nicole is crazy.
Yeah. Like, with her son dying, you know, it's heartbreak.
Yeah.
Grief.
Well, she didn't understand why that had to happen, and he went to visit her, and she probably didn't know he was on all these drugs. It's crazy. And Anna Nicole Smith, I used to watch a lot of reality TV, and I remember she had a reality TV show. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember watching it. It may have just been called Anna Nicole. Like, I feel like that was the name of it, but it just followed her around. She, such a sad story there. I think with Anna Nicole Smith, I think there was a lot of sketchiness that happened behind the scenes with Hugh Hefner and Anna Nicole and all the other Playboy bunnies. I mean, the Playboy Mansion is going to be an entire psyop within itself that we're going to go into eventually, because that's another big part of like the industry. Oh, yeah. And Hugh Hefner was basically P. Diddy just with women. Mm-hmm. There's so many stories about Hugh Hefner basically sex trafficking those playgirls, and also on top of all of that, allowing grape and other things to happen at his mansion. Also famously, like Elvis had his own room at the Playboy Mansion. Michael Jackson visited the Playboy Mansion multiple times. I mean, basically, like, if you were a star and you were in Hollywood or you were in the music industry, you went to the Playboy Mansion. So, like, everybody's been there. Leonardo DiCaprio's been there. Jack Nicholson talks about the times he hung out at the Playboy Mansion. I mean, there's so many people that have been to the Playboy Mansion. It's crazy. That's a psyop within itself. I would love to dive deep down the Hugh Hefner rabbit hole. We're going to have to do that at some point.
We might do that for part 5.
Yeah, for Hugh Hefner and his Playgirls.
Mm-hmm. But though Sunday, we are doing the Artemis one, so we're going to have to probably do the part 5 on Hugh Hefner Monday.
Yeah. So anyways, we're going to get into these videos, because tonight, guys, we don't have a ton of time. Yeah. We kind of got on late because I had to deal with some stuff, and work kicked my ass tonight. So here comes our first video. Just satanic rituals that rappers don't want you to see.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal. Lisa came with a few toys like a Happy Meal.
These days, rap and Satan are having a moment. Satanic rappers, also known as occult rappers, are a subgenre of hip-hop that incorporates themes of Satanism and the occult into their lyrics and imagery. Some say it's just an act, a shtick, while others say the deal has been struck between the artist and the devil, exchanging their precious soul for fame. Many contemporary rappers have incited controversy referencing satanic images in their music and aesthetic, and these are the top 10. Lil Uzi Vert, Samir Woods, professionally known as Lil Uzi Vert, has always been explicit in his use of satanic imagery. Following in the footsteps of rock provocateur Marilyn Manson, using satanic imagery, lyrics, and merchandise have been used to incite controversy. Stop for a second and try to pronounce Lil Uzi Vert 3 times in quick succession. Guess what you would end up saying? Lucifer or Lil Lucifer? While performing at the 2018 Wireless concert, the Philadelphian rapper stopped the EXO Tour Life instrumental to share a message with the fans.
Before everybody starts screaming and saying, oh, like I told y'all earlier, you motherfuckers entered the rapture. And if ain't nobody flying up to heaven right now, obviously all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me.
He also added,
let's get it. Oh, you already here. I'm so sorry. You can't get out. You're stuck. It's over. You heard the song a billion times and you didn't even know. That's up, but I still love you.
The rapper also released a track titled 444 plus 222, which equals the biblical number of the beast 666. He's known for posting photos of upside down crosses on his Instagram page, which has led to some of his colleagues calling him out, most notably Offset. Offset posted an Instagram clip saying,
all y'all doing upside down cross. Even my little partners, man. Stop the while you look lame. All that worship the devil. He was God, man.
Lil Uzi responded by posting a picture on Instagram with a smiley face and an upside down cross and the number 666, tagging Offset in it. The Migos rapper replied to the post, writing, I will pray for you, my brother. Lil Nas X. Lil Nas X, whose real name is Montero Lamar Hill, is a popular rapper and singer who is no stranger to the spotlight and tabloids concerning his provocative artistic persona and social media presence. After gaining initial fame with the hit song Old Town Road, he's gone on to release other songs which indicate the Georgian rapper's apparent interest in Satanism. He released a music video for his song Montero, Call Me By Your Name, that features him descending into hell while pole dancing and giving the devil a lap dance. This generated a huge amount of controversy, which Lil Nas X ultimately reveled in. He also posted pictures on social media that show him wearing a pentagram necklace and standing in front of a statue of Baphomet, a figure associated with Satanism. Shortly after the video's release, New York-based art collective Mischief collaborated with Lil Nas X to make 666 pairs of unofficial Nike Air Max 97. The shoes, which cost $1,018 each, a reference to the Bible verse Luke 10:18, are Satan-themed and allegedly feature a drop of human blood. Playboi Carti. Jordan Terrell Carter, professionally known as Playboi Carti, is an American rapper who has gone from having an underground cult following to becoming one of the mainstream mumble rappers. Playboi Carti is no stranger to the satanic lifestyle. His 2020 album, Whole Lotta Red, featured several Satan-esque references, as well as vampiric imagery and more. The Atlanta rapper garnered this attention from hit singles like Magnolia and Woke Up Like This, as well as his debut album, Die Lit, in 2020.
Come on, man.
Oh, boo!
Let me show you around. This is the ship hangar. Every vessel ready to launch at a moment's notice.
2018. In anticipation for his second album, Whole Lotta Red, Playboi Carti announced a collection of new merch, the bulk of which includes inverted crosses and pentagram necklaces. The 16-piece merch collection featured 12 types of clothing options, along with 4 household items. The sweaters and shirts have upside-down crosses and statements like Black Leather Devil printed on them. Immediately after images of the merch went live on the internet, fans began talking about the clothes' satanic appearance. He recently caused a frenzy amongst his fans when he displayed a Satan tattoo on the back of his neck. The Atlanta native shared a photo of his new ink on social media, which shows the word on his neck atop other eerie tattoos that have already faded. Others ridiculed Carti's fans for making a big deal out of the new tattoo when it was obvious the rapper had been using satanic imagery in his work since 2019. Tyler, the Creator. Tyler, the Creator, is known for his controversial and often shocking lyrics, and his music often touches on satanic themes. He also includes satanic imagery in his music videos and live performances. When Tyler and his alternative hip-hop group, Odd Future Collective, first appeared in the early 2010s, the group was labeled as a bunch of devil-worshipping deviants. From having merchandise adorned with 666 and inverted crosses to the lyrical content, the group's references to Satanism were a topic of discussion on numerous forums and hip-hop threads. Tyler's 2011 debut album, Goblin, is full of satanic references. On the album title track, Tyler is constantly alluding to how he's seen a devil worshiper. Oh, that's a 3336. Isn't he a devil worshiper? Because I'm too ignorant to do some research. After releasing his 2009 debut mixtape Bastard, Tyler did an interview where he talked about the satanic references as well as where it all came from. He said, "My grandmother once told me I was from hell since I was so evil. I kind of took that and flipped it. Since I didn't have a father, I sort of went to this devil guy as a role model." XXXTentacion. The now deceased XXXTentacion, or Jose Dwayne Ricardo Onfroy, was considered to be a pillar and a leading figure in the emo rap and SoundCloud rap genres, which started taking off in the mid-2010s. Onfroy had a well-documented interest in the occult right from a young age. He had a collection of occult books and even took part in rituals. On his Double XL freshman cipher and his track I Spoke to the Devil in Miami, he said everything would be fine. Onfroy mentioned selling his soul to Satan. In this track, X reminisces about his past wrongdoings, detailing a hypothetical conversation with Satan about the state of his soul. Some standout lyrics from the track include, spoke to a Baphomet, said he would save me if I gave him one thing he needed. What is this thing I pleaded? Boy, it's the key to even. Yeah. Baphomet here refers to the enigmatic goat figure found in satanic imagery. The symbol represents Satanism and occultism. In this case, the Baphomet correlates to Satan, who wants one thing, X's soul. Trippie Redd. Michael Lamar White II, professionally known as Trippie Redd, is an American rapper and singer who has been gaining popularity in recent years in the SoundCloud rap scene for his unique blend of rap and emo music. He's been known to incorporate elements of Satanism into his music, often referencing Satan and using imagery associated with Satanism, such as pentagrams and horns. In many cases, they are used as a way to shock and provoke, as well as incite controversy among his fans and haters alike. He was seen posting this image.
Okay, but that's the heartogram. That's not a pentagram. It's the heartogram. That's BAM's logo from Element.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like, sure, okay, cool, whatever. I don't consider the heartogram to be satanic.
On his Snapchat, which includes occult symbolism such as the all-seeing eye, the head of Baphomet, the biblical number of the beast 666, as well as the pentagram. This is Trippie Redd's arms, tattooed with several inverted crosses. Above the inverted crosses is the tattoo saying, demons at play. In this picture, his shirt says, take me to hell, tell me it's heaven, as a woman hugs the devil. The official music video for his hit song, Topanga, features a very eerie atmosphere with numerous heads of the Baphomet seen, as well as a pentagram with candles all around it. The Ohio native was also seen flexing Lil Nas X's bloodstained Satan shoes on his Instagram. With only 666 pairs in existence, Trippie Redd made sure to get his hands on a pair, complementing the diabolical theme seen in his music. Lil Pump. Gazzy Garcia, aka Lil Pump, is an American rapper and songwriter who has gained popularity for his energetic and boombastic style of rap music. He's one of the most prominent and controversial artists in the industry right now. His provocative antics have recently included incorporating satanic and occult themes into his aesthetic and music videos. In the music video for the hit track Illuminati by Lil Pump and Newell AA, there are enough satanic references to make a priest whip out his holy water. The video starts with the Newell AA laying in a coffin, then immediately comes back to life and starts rapping. This represents initiation rituals in which the candidate dies and becomes reborn. When he starts rapping, we see an image of Baphomet flashing on the screen. Then, Lil Pump is seen surrounded by masked people in what looks like an initiation ritual. His verse begins like this: Illuminati, might wake up tomorrow and buy a Bugatti. Illuminati, swerving in a Rari while I'm on an Oxy. Essentially, Lil Pump says the Illuminati allows him to purchase a Bugatti and drive a Ferrari while incapacitated on opioids. The video also features Lil Pump surrounded by a hellfire, as well as other notable signs of the occult, including the one eye sign and the head of horned beast. Young Thug. Young Thug is considered to be an influential figure of his generation. Known for his eccentric vocal style and fashion, his music has impacted the modern sound of hip-hop and trap music. His 2018 EP, Hear No Evil, featured a track called Up, and the music video for this track was met with controversy and scrutiny concerning the affiliation of the music industry with Satanism. Up by Young Thug featuring Lil Uzi Vert is one of the most blatantly satanic music videos in the history of rap, and you only need to see the first 7 seconds to convince you. This video has no cohesive theme or narrative. It is essentially Young Thug and Lil Uzi Vert bouncing around while intense occult and satanic symbolism flash on the screen. The video description is basically, we own these two dudes, as the entire set looks like a satanic lodge. The video begins with a soulless girl crawling on a checkerboard floor surrounded by red drapes. To make things extra satanic, the scene is upside down. It also includes numerous shots of owls, which have been a long-time symbol representing the occult elite. There is also a shot of a girl with 7 eyes, which can be alluding to several Bible verses mentioning the 7 eyes of the Lord. Psy Baby. One of the lesser-known rappers on the list, Saheem Malik Valerie, professionally known as Psy Baby, the Atlanta rapper.
Hi. This is really hard for me to do.
Gained widespread popularity in 2017 after the release of his
Okay, I guess we lost Robert for a bit. We'll be back. What happened, bro?
I don't know, dude.
That was weird.
I have no clue what just happened.
You got yeeted.
Yeah.
You got yeeted and the video just stopped.
Yeah, it StreamYard had a fuck up. I have no clue what the hell that was about.
That was weird.
Without following, but many of his critics believe the philosophy is just another form of Satanism. For the 21-year-old rapper, 666 or an inverted cross has nothing to do with Satan, but black affirmation. He once said that 666, that's 6 protons, 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, that equals carbon 12. Carbon helps make melanin, so that's the scientific makeup of people of the same skin color as me. In short, he's trying to say that 666 is actually about black power. Maybe, maybe not. There is a reason why a popular slogan says symbols rule the world, not words nor laws. Words can be twisted to mean anything, but symbols do not lie. Juice WRLD. Juice WRLD was an American rapper known for his unique blend of emo and hip-hop music. Known for his emotional and introspective lyrics, often addressing themes of love, heartbreak, and mental health, he rose to fame with his viral hit Lucid Dreams in 2018. His death in 2019 has always been shrouded in some form of mystery, and many of his fans have wondered if it had any occult ties. His hardcore fans have noted that he predicted the manner and timing of his death down to a T. On his hit song Legends, the Chicago rapper mentioned that he would make it past 21. He said, "What's the 27 club? We ain't making it past 21. I've been going through paranoia, so I always gotta keep a gun. Damn, that's the world we live in now? Yeah, hold on, just hear me out." On the song Rentals, Juice WRLD said, "Had a big heart till a nigga sold it. Had a good soul, till it sold it." On the track Blast Off, he said the following: "Let's be honest, you're the devil's daughter. Say hey to your father, he owe me $20. Here, he could be alluding to the possible deal he made with the devil and how the devil is yet to fulfill his end of the bargain. On December 8, 2019, at the age of 21, his death was ruled as caused by an accidental overdose of oxycodone and codeine. Regardless of the motivations behind it, the use of satanic themes in hip-hop has sparked debate and controversy. Some critics have accused these artists of promoting Satanism and a harmful ideology, while others have defended their right for artistic expression. These rappers keep pushing the boundaries of what is acceptable in music and creating a unique and provocative sound. Whether one finds their music offensive or edgy, there is no denying the impact that these artists have had on the world of hip-hop. If you enjoyed this video, check out our other awesome videos on the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, no, Lil Nas X. Ooh, that one though. He is super satanic. I don't care what anybody says. Nas X that's basically the devil's baby.
And doing that little
the shoe, man. The fucking shoe collab. That's what got me. Supposedly it has a drop of his blood in every shoe.
and the fact that he literally did a dance and a music video, Montero, with
Yeah.
people.
The whole call me by your name.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is Chloe Bailey exposes the dark side of the music industry.
After Sinners, I cried. It just reminds you so much of the industry. You could have a gift like he did with his guitar. So it's like, in order for him to be successful, the vampires were telling him he has to sell out so that he could live forever and his music could live forever. No matter how talented you are, sometimes that's not enough to get you places that you need to be. After Sinners.
What was Sinners? Was that a movie?
It's a it's a show. Maybe a movie. But no, okay, so it has the girl who plays Kate Bishop in it.
Yeah, here, I'm going to ask Rock to explain it to me.
And Michael B. Jordan in it.
What is Sinners with Michael B. Jordan?
And Haley Steinfeld.
It's a 2025 horror movie directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan in a dual role as twin brothers, Smoke and Stack. They return to their Mississippi hometown in the 1930s Jim Crow South, planning to open a juke joint, but run into a terrifying supernatural evil. Think vampires with a bluesy, soul-stealing twist. It's got Haley Steinfeld, Delroy Lindo, and Wunmi Masaku in the cast. Shot on IMAX film, it mixes horror, music, and Black Southern history. Critics loved Jordan's performance and the visuals. It even swept up 4 Oscars, including Best Actor for him. Want to know if it's streaming yet, or just the vibe without spoilers?
Okay, cool. I might have to check that out. Elmsted said it's rated really well, but he couldn't watch it again.
I watched it twice and I love it.
I'll have to check it out. I haven't seen it, so I'll have to check it out.
It does have vampirism in it.
All right. So this is, of course, Cardi B has got something to say about the music industry always, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good old Cardi.
I noticed that these in the industry, ain't no love in the industry. Like, you could really buy this loyalty. And I took an oath when I was 16. And loyalty means so much to me. And loyalty should mean so much to anybody. Because let's say if the devil comes to you, right? And so I'll give you $100 million. But I want you to turn your back on God. Would you turn your back on God, or will you take that 100 million? Me personally, I would turn that 100 million, because loyalty to my God, loyalty to my people, loyalty is so important to me. But evidently, it's not loyal. Ain't no loyalty to these. Like, this industry that I'm in is so fake, it's so whack, and it's so hard for me to adapt, because I'm not used to this shit. I'm not used to this. I'm used to living my life under an oath. Like, I've been living under oath ever since I was 16. I noticed that these.
Do you believe Cardi though? Do you think she's telling the truth? Because I feel like Cardi has had some satanic ritualism in her stuff herself.
I mean, I don't know what to believe with her half the time, because I'm not really a big Cardi B fan.
Wasn't the whole story behind her that she bragged about drugging men and stealing their money and doing whatever at strip clubs when she was a dancer?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's true. I mean, let me check just to make sure that I'm not miss saying something, because I don't want to say something that's not true. Is it true that Cardi B used to talk about how she was a dancer at one point and she used to drug and rob men?
Yeah, it's true. Back when she was a stripper, in a 2016 Instagram Live, she straight up said she used to take guys to hotels, drug them, and rob them to survive and pay for studio time. Quote was something like, "I had to go strip. Let's go back to this hotel. And I drugged ends up, and I robbed them. That's what I used to do." When the video resurfaced in 2019, she owned it. Said she wasn't proud, but she did what she had to do. She later walked back the drugging part a bit, claiming she never spiked drinks, just went through pockets while they were already messed up. Either way, she never denied the robbing. That's her exact words from back then. No one's twisting it.
Thoughts?
No comment.
Yeah, so Cardi B used to rob men at strip clubs. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I really trust anything Cardi says, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah, Elmsted said, well, you fucked up going home with a stripper. I knew a guy at one point who was dating a stripper. It did not end well. He had they didn't have a kid together, but he helped raise one of her children, and it did not. Her kid and him are still really close, but as you know, him and her, they are not close anymore at all. You know who I'm talking about, crew. He's from a different country. He speaks German.
Oh, name starts with the J. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not spilling the name on live.
But yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so it never went well. It was pretty bad. Oh yeah, no, it's totally like that with corn stars too. Corn stars make your life a living hell. I've never dated one, but I know a guy that I know a guy that was with an OnlyFans model, and basically it ruined his freaking life because he came home one day and this girl was literally having a train ran on her. Yeah, for content. Oh yeah, and that was her. That was her like longtime boyfriend of like 6 years, bro. And I know that dude personally, and he's never been the same. So yeah, don't date corn stars and don't date strippers.
It's like it's one thing if you both are doing it together in the content, right?
Yeah,
And constantly doing it to get just together in the content, but to come home and witness that's sea holding and also traumatizing and destruction of said relationship.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dude, did I ever tell you did did I ever tell you when I got invited to a party in downtown Kansas City and I went with one of my friends her name was Lily and I went with her out to this party. This was probably back in like 2000 and maybe like 16 or 17 somewhere around there. But it ended up I went to this I get to this party, right? And I walk in and all I see are like there's couches everywhere and like mattresses and stuff and I'm like what the hell is this? And then I see like there's a DJ or whatever and then I realize there's just a bunch of naked people walking around and I realized that I was at a swingers club.
Mm.
That happened. That fucking happened to me. I walked out. I didn't stay. I was like, I'm not involving myself in this. That really happened to me.
Shit, the parties we've all been to.
Oh, bro, I've been to some weird parties, man. I've been to parties that I had to leave because I was like, this is too weird.
Yeah, so have I.
Yeah.
The parties where cops got called.
Oh, dude, I was at I was at a house party when I was 16 years old that got swatted. We literally like I hid underneath a truck, right? I hid up underneath a truck in the garage while everybody else in the entire house was getting arrested. I watched one of my friends, this guy Shane. I watched him freaking punch out the garage window that was in there and climb out of the window while the cops are yanking him by his foot back through the window that he just broke out. Crazy. And they never found me. Like I sat under that car the whole time and they got everybody else in the house. And when everybody left, I snuck out the window that Shane broke. So yeah, no, the parties that we went to as 16, 17, 18 and 19-year-old kids, oh my god, those were lit and they were scary sometimes.
The one party though that I went to that got the cops called, right? Okay, so remember when I used to live out there by the what is no longer the freshman center?
Right.
So when I was living out in Blue Springs at the time, this was about like 2014, right?
Yeah.
And it was in October. So I was working at McDonald's at the time, and I got off work, right, and then went to my buddy's house.
Yeah.
And I didn't live too far from him. He lived like, you know, that one street that's right there, right before you get to the freshman center, not the
Yeah.
one that goes all the way to Blue Springs Park.
Yeah.
The one that leads to a dead end.
Yeah.
Well, you remember Jake?
Yeah.
So I would hang out with him all the time, and this is where Billy and I really hung out.
Right.
But this was this was like right after me and Billy stopped talking and everything, and then I went and I got off work, go over to Jake's parents' house because he and his parents lived there. And he was throwing this huge ass Halloween party or whatever. So I go and, just chill and all that. And next thing I know, bro, our buddy Devin walks in. He's like, guys, either hide or dip out because cops are coming. So I'm here. So I tell his parents, hey, I gotta go. I gotta get home because because at the time I was living with my grandparents, right? And and they said, oh well, come by some other time and hang out because I was also friends with Jake's parents, right?
Right.
And so I leave. I go through the back, and I go around the house to walk the street. That is the dead end street.
Yeah.
And I get stopped midway by a cop, and he's like, we're just doing a check because we got a call from one of the neighbors. Were you at the party? I was like, yeah, why? He's like, how old are you? I was like, I'm of age, but I wasn't really here hanging out to party with the kids. I was just with the parents because I'm really good friends with parents, which was true,
Right.
And he's like, well, can I check your bag? So I hand him my bag, and he's like, what were you doing tonight? I was like, well, I got off work and I figured I'd stop by and say hello to the parents and to their son.
Right.
That's true. I really did. And he's like, okay, well, I don't see nothing illegal here. Hands me back my bag and says, you're free to go.
Right.
And I literally went home and I was like, told my grandfather all about that. He looked at me and was like, seriously? I'm like, yeah. He's like, wow, that's stupid.
Right. Hey, it happens.
Yeah.
So here we go. We're going to be talking about our main man, Kanye. Yay.
The devil took all the producers, the musicians, the designers, moved us all out to Hollywood, moved us all out to New York, chasing gold statues, literally signing a contract and selling our souls. They got contracts out there that say, you can't say Jesus. When we was working on this album, people used to be coming over the studio just to say Jesus as loud as they wanted to.
Disguising these policies behind the words Tennessee Christian values. Those aren't Tennessee Christian values. I live in Tennessee. I am Christian. That's not what we stand for.
She's seen chugging a beer at the Super Bowl on live TV. She is friends with a secular rapper who is wearing an inverted cross, mocking Jesus Christ, and showing satanic hand signs. She also supports the LGBTQ community and creates music that is explicitly satanic and sexual.
You literally almost signed to Polo G's record label.
I heard millions in it. I was just planning on going there and signing it. But I'm with one of my old cameramen at the time.
And were you in the world this time?
Yeah, I was in the world. Yeah, this is secular music. It's not even Christian music, not even a thought about Christian. I'm there, I'm looking through the deal, I'm just skimming through it. So then my homeboy grabbed it. He's like, let me just, before you sign, bro, let me just look through it real quick, bro. It's like he knew where the page was or something. He was just flipping, bro. He like, stop. You didn't read this? I said, read what?
Huh.
Bro, contracts are real.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
All right, guys, real quick before we get into today's video, I would like to say thank you. Thank you to every single person that's been supporting me on this channel, on my journey. Obviously, as a lot of you all should know, I recently decided that I'm going to be doing YouTube full time from now, which is a really big commitment. And about 2.5 weeks ago, I started a Patreon. The amount of support that I have received has far exceeded my expectations, and I'm overcome and I'm overwhelmed with love. So this is what I'm going to do as a thank you. starting next month, even though I just started the Patreon, starting next month, I'm going to start doing a monthly giveaway. And I'm going to start off with $50. And maybe I'll do like a random drawing, you know, on camera for you all to be able to see, so everything is transparent. And I'm going to name the person. I'm going to, and if I name you, I'm going to pin your comment. I want you to comment in the comment section saying something like thank you or something. I'm going to pin your comment in the comment section, and I'm going to give you a shout out at the end of every video, so everything is transparent. And every 50 people that become a paid member of the Patreon going forward, I'm going to increase the giveaway amount by $50. That's my way of saying thank you. Now let's get into the video. So about a couple of years ago, I was over at a friend's house to watch some UFC fights, and Israel Adesanya, at the end of his fight, he walked out into the octagon and did one of the weirdest things I've ever seen.
He was not going great. He lost the first round, second round, he had a much better round. But Alex Bajeda did not respect the power of Israel Adesanya.
Didn't know what he was doing, had never seen it before from any fighter. So I was like, but nobody else seemed to like question what we just watched. And so I looked at my friend, I was like, bro, did you just see that from Izzy? And he was like, oh yeah, he always does that. And I'm like, okay, I have no idea. Is that a ritual or something? What is it about? He said, no, it's about Monster, the energy drink. He doesn't care for them. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Why? And he said, oh, because he feels like, I don't know, something about, he just don't like what they stand for or something. And it was just like, I'm like, it has to be more than that. So I looked into it. I'm like, oh, Israel Adesanya purposely goes out and he draws. What he's doing right here is he's drawing a cross and he's sticking his middle fingers up to the logo of the Monster Energy drink brand because he feels like they are evil. But at the time, what my friend told me is, I just thought to myself, well, why won't he just say he don't support them or he don't like them, whatever? And he said, because if you don't know, Dana White, you know, obviously the CEO of the UFC, he has it in his clause where his fighters are not allowed to speak about certain things like Jesus and politics and things of that sort. And I was like, oh, I never knew that.
I don't believe in God, the devil, ghosts, or any of that.
Exactly. I don't like religion. I think religion is dangerous. All religion is dangerous. I think it's scary and it's dangerous, and I think it's all bad, and that should probably all go away. America doesn't want to hear your thoughts on Jesus, and, you know, keep that stuff at home.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Without him, I would be nothing.
First things first, I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. That's number one.
I'm so glad I don't have to wonder what my purpose is anymore. I don't have to wonder what my identity is anymore. And I tell you, man, if you're wondering about what your purpose is and what your identity is, man, you gotta know, you gotta come to know Jesus Christ. He's the only thing that ever gives me a purpose.
Which actually reminded me, Kawhi Leonard, NBA player, earlier this year, actually after a game at one of their press conferences, he actually took Gatorade off of the table because he said he didn't want to promote that to the children because he said Gatorade is actually bad for you.
Kids don't need to be drinking.
But at the time when this happened with Israel Adesanya, it blew my mind because I didn't know that. I didn't quite understand it. It did, however, make me think about the music industry. I said, yo, I don't know if they like, quote unquote, they're told not to do it, but this is a question I've always asked myself about the music industry. I say, how come nobody ever talks, not just the music industry, but Hollywood altogether? I'm like, why do they never talk about Jesus? Like, you'll hear them say God, but they never talk about Jesus. Like in my last video, when I covered the Kevin Gates and the Paul Pierce interview, I said one thing I've noticed about celebrities is they almost never have Christians around them, right? There's never any regular Christians, people who will say that they're Christians, but then you'll quickly realize like they're super inclusive, super progressive. So they're willing to accept a bunch of stuff that's not consistent with the Bible. So they're not actually Christian. So I'm saying like just normal Christian, nothing extra, nothing more, nothing less. They never have these people around them. I said, I wonder if that's a coincidence. And then about a couple of months ago, I got the confirmation maybe I needed to hear or see. There's an artist by the name of Kajin Boone. And apparently he was like this close to signing to the rapper Polo G's record label. And he was seconds away from signing the contract until his friend who was with him asked him if he could like just read through the contract. And he said he read through the contract and it said in the contract that not only would he not be allowed to say Jesus' name, who Kajin Boone is now a Christian rapper, but at the time he was secular. He was of the world. So he didn't know that it said that, but he also found it to be super strange. But what was even more strange about this contract was that not only were they not allowed or would they not be allowed to say the name Jesus, he said they didn't say don't say God. specifically Jesus Christ. But it said that there will be certain consequences that will happen if you chose to say Jesus' name against the contract.
Like you literally almost signed to Polo G's record label.
That was the first, and it's ironic because everybody, that's what everybody said I sound like. It's weird, but before all those altercations, rumor, whatever, the stuff being said by Polo G, yeah, that was the first label, his label ODA. I got reached out to them by them. Just talking to him, chopping it up. At first I didn't think it was real. Like I was just, because I never was talking to him. So it was just like, I was just like, and obviously you probably not, because it's the managers and the team that be behind it. They talking to me for a couple of weeks, and then it's like I had a meeting with this dude in the office. I forget his name, but it was like an office meeting, and I didn't know nothing about it. I was just planning on going there and signing it. Like that's why I didn't. They said something. They said $1 million. I heard millions in it. I heard the million word, and I just heard money. I was just gonna go do it. That's it. I think it was like two to something million, and the money was kind of crazy because I was like, I ain't even really been doing nothing for real. Like the music wise, like I made some cool songs, but I didn't even think my worth was that. Like, I'm like, dang, I'm worth that much. They finna give me this. So off the rip, like we get there and I don't care. I'm ready to sign, but I'm with one of my old cameraman at the time. I used to shoot my videos back then.
And were you in the world this time?
Yeah, I was in the world. Yeah. This is secular music. It's not even Christian music. Not even a thought about Christian. So I'm there, I'm looking through the deal. I'm just skimming through it. I'm not even caring. I'm trying to where the dotted lines at so I can sign. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So then my homeboy grabbed it. He's like, "Oh, before you sign, bro, let me just look through it real quick, bro." Bro, he like, it's like he knew where the page was or something. He was just flipping, bro. He like stopped. He was like, "Bro, you didn't read this?" I said, "Read what?" The thing said you could not say literally in verbatim. It said you could not say the name Jesus. It didn't say God.
Wow.
It said you cannot say the name Jesus. I forgot what else it said, but it said like or else. Like it's like it was like a threat in there or something. But they'll basically say like they know your family, where they live at. They know who your family is. It's stuff that's in those like dotted lines that we will not read. But it's literally them saying like in my terminology, if you say the name Jesus, you're gonna die, or something gonna happen to you.
It's like God always intervenes, bro. When it comes to you, bro, it's like
I don't even know.
Bro, that was God intervention with a normal dude who not even in Christ.
Not in Christ at all.
I know why. It's because you're pure-hearted, bro.
Literally.
Wow.
The pure-hearted will see God.
Amen. Literally.
If you all remember a couple of months ago or so, the video I made about the woman who claims to know somebody whose boyfriend from Atlanta sold his soul to the devil, whatever. In that video, towards the end, I was trying to guess who the rapper was. And one of the potential people I threw out there was Playboy Cardi. And in the video, the lady said that she couldn't understand why her boyfriend was choosing to do all of these rituals to try to be able to make it in the music industry because he was talented without these people that he had met in Los Angeles. She said she was trying to convince him, like, baby, you don't have to do these chants anymore. You don't have to do these rituals anymore. You don't have to do this stuff. It's changing you. Just work hard. You'll be able to make it like that. And I said in that video, if he wants to make it in the music industry, yes, he does have to do those things. Absolutely. But I never actually considered that it was in the contract that it specifically told you, do not talk about certain things. And so really what it comes down to is this true, right? Like, is this something that actually happens? Is it some artists? Is it most artists? Because we even hear the rumors that most of these, especially these drill artists, have life insurances that comes with their contract, and a lot of these artists don't even know it. Again, can we confirm that to be true or not true? I don't exactly know, but this is what I can tell you. Kanye West actually came into the industry saying Jesus Christ's name. Jesus Walks. Kanye West, once again, has made an entire album with Jesus' name on it, saying Jesus' name throughout the album. And as we know, Kanye West is one of the biggest artists in the world. So if you want to control the masses, if you want to control the young people, this will be one of the biggest artists and the best artists to be able to use and control to be able to do it. So does this prove the fact that Kanye West has done it, that either this artist was lying when he said that this happened to him, or maybe it just happened to some artists and not others? I personally believe this doesn't prove anything because Kanye West himself has come out and said, listen, they have contracts where they tell people you cannot say the name Jesus.
The devil took all the producers, the musicians, the designers, moved us all out to Hollywood, moved us all out to New York, chasing gold statues, literally signing a contract and selling our souls. They got contracts out there that say you can't say Jesus. When we was working on this album, people used to be coming over the studio just to say Jesus as loud as they wanted to.
But not only that, when you look at the grand scheme of most artists don't do it. In fact, most artists mock Jesus. if anything else, right? Because one could make the argument is similar to like separation of church and state, right? Certain universities and schools, certain organizations, HR tell you you can't say the name Jesus because you can say God, but you can't say the name Jesus because it can isolate other people from different religions. So as a way to be, for lack of a better term, more inclusive, right? And to like accommodate for everybody who come from all different walks of life, they say refrain from saying the name Jesus. And this is the reason. One could even argue that's why Dana White does it. He's a businessman and he wants to appeal to more people. And if you're allowing people to be Christian, some of your biggest fighters may be Christian or may be Muslim, it may isolate other people from different religions, so it's hurting your bottom line. But I'm going to tell you specifically in the music industry why I don't believe this is the case. Because it's one thing if you're just doing it from a business perspective, but it's spiritual. And I'm going to prove that it's spiritual because they actually mock Jesus in the music industry often.
You are not going to believe all of these celebrities are mocking Jesus. Watch.
Madonna on the cross, P. Diddy on the cross, Nas on the cross, Da Baby on the cross, Lil Dicky on the cross, Tupac on the cross, Lady Gaga with a nun outfit on that has an upside down cross, Katy Perry acting like she's burning in flames with a demon behind her with a cross on her chest.
Notice it's never any other religion.
And like he said in the clip, you notice that they don't do this with anybody else. No other religion. You think they will be able to go on national television and do everything that they just did with Jesus about Muhammad when it comes to the Muslim faith? Do you think they'd be able to get away with that? So why is it okay? Why do they feel so comfortable with doing this when it comes to Christianity? Why? And I'm going to go a step further, and it's going to turn off a lot of people, but we got to say the truth. I appreciate this gentleman coming out and sharing this information, even though like it was like a couple of months ago. And by the way, this is on Richard Lorenzo Jr., I believe that's his name. His YouTube channel, been following him for a while. So man, if you see this, love the work that you're doing. God bless you. I'll include the link to the full video in the description below. But I want to make sure that I state something about Christian rappers. I checked out this guy, Kajin Boone. He makes some good music in the sense that, yeah, no fluke. He really talks about Jesus. He's really trying to encourage people to follow Jesus. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. But what I've noticed is one could say that it's a genius marketing strategy. And that is dress like rappers, look like rappers, but talk about Jesus, right? So you attract the younger crowd. You look like you're about the stuff that they like to listen to. But once you start speaking, you're drawing them into Christ and you're trying to educate them. But this can be a dangerous road to follow because it can come off to some as a way of you trying to fit in. It can come off to some as a way of you conforming to the ways of the world, which the Bible speaks against. It can come off as flashy because, again, I don't expect the brother to be perfect. And if you see this interview, if you see this video, no disrespect to you, but you just got to be super careful. You got to be super careful because if a person is looking at you and you got the iced out watch and you got the locks, which there's nothing wrong with having locks, obviously. But if you're looking like Polo G, the person that you say don't compare you to in your music, the person that you almost signed to before you became saved, you got to be careful, man, because it doesn't look like, right? The scriptures talk about we should be able to tell the difference between those that are of the world and those that are not. And if I'm looking at you and I'm looking at him and it looks the same, all I'm saying is just be careful with that because the message can be pure. You can mean well, but you could be sending mixed signals to some people outside of the fact that Christian hip hop in itself is almost an oxymoron because when you look at the term hip hop, to hop the hip, right? When you just break the word down itself, it means booty shaking. And this pastor broke it down beautifully.
It was a spirit and I didn't know it. I didn't know that was a spirit. So to put Christian in front of that, I don't think so. I don't think so. And hip hop, just to break the word down, is booty shaking. Hip? Oh, if your hip is hopping, I mean, I don't need to have no holy. The fact that I'm a poet and I missed that is crazy. That's the origin of the phrase. So, I mean, it's never been good.
So can I confirm that this is either true or not true, that they're putting these things into people's contract? According to people that's a part of the industry, it's definitely a thing. Maybe it's not every single artist because there are other artists that have said the name Jesus in his music, even Polo G himself, but he's never praised Jesus. He's never encouraged people to follow Jesus. But Jesus' name has been said at times, but of course, there's very few times when it's happened. Y'all up in the comment section, give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think that this is something that is a common thing in the music industry in Hollywood altogether? I'd love to hear your thoughts, man. I'm Demetrius. I go by DD. That's all for this one. Peace.
Dude, that was very informative.
Oh yeah.
Dee Dee's podcast is awesome. That's cool as shit. I'll have to check that podcast out. He seems to know what he's talking about when it comes to these different things. I've heard of the contract rumors.
Me too.
I've heard of them. I've never seen them. I wish somebody would leak one of the contracts. That would make me very interested if somebody would leak one of the contracts.
Oh yeah.
That's a very interesting video. That was fire.
Hell yeah.
Now, this is one's about Nick Cannon and the dark side of the music industry.
Man, how do you sleep at night? Like, the music industry is filled with bad money. And I've seen people, they take advantage. Like, it's literally designed in these contracts. That's why I never really wanted to be, I didn't want to thrive in it. Like, man, how do you sleep at night? Like, the music industry is filled with bad money. And I've seen people, they take advantage. Like, it's literally designed in these contracts. That's why I never really wanted to be, I didn't want to thrive in it. Like, man, how do you?
I mean, he's right. How do you sleep at night if you know that you've signed that stuff and that you are coming out and promoting satanic ritualistic shit and or promoting just dark side stuff? Like, it's not, you shouldn't be happy with that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Crossroads, he described selling his soul for musical talent. There's been several after that. John Lennon, for example, it was on December 8th, 1980, his last interview. For most people, that doesn't mean anything to them. To a Catholic, December 8th, that's the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. And in that interview, he admits that something comes over me, like I'm possessed when I write songs. That day, he walks out and is assassinated. They asked, why did you do it? He said, I don't know. I just realized I would do anything to be famous. I had voices telling me to shoot it. So there's been other actors that have said that have sold their soul. Or demon takes over me when I perform. Beyonce says that.
Beyonce says that?
Yeah, she said in interviews, yeah, something just takes over me. The song Crossroads, he described selling his.
Beyonce said that she has a alter ego that actually has a name. I forget what she calls it, but Sasha Fierce, right? Isn't that Beyonce's demon?
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
There's a whole conspiracy going on with Beyonce. Oh fuck. I can go on all night about her.
Beyonce and Jay-Z are like the leaders of the Illuminati, my guy. Allegedly.
There's something about, okay, so I will bring this a little bit about when it comes to Beyonce about the backup dancer. Ooh, that's a whole other story itself.
Yeah.
But
we'll go down the Jay-Z and Beyonce rabbit hole eventually.
Oh yeah.
This one's about Snoop Dogg and how he exposed the dark side of the music industry. Although I kind of think Snoop's probably a part of the dark side of the industry, but let's hear what he has to say.
Jackson wasn't even making dollars off of his album.
That was Michael Jackson not making money off his own music.
For example, if they were selling Michael Jackson Thriller for $9.99, how much money do you really think he made off of each copy of Thriller? And this is the 80s, and that shit sold the most records ever. He made a lot of money. What you think the record labels made? They made all the money. Taylor Swift, perfect example. She ain't an old artist at all. She's quite new. What did she do? She remastered her album. Why? Because she wasn't making revenues off of that album. The Michael Jackson.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, music record label companies tend to screw the artist. 100%. So we've got this last video here, and this video Cruz sent me. It's the video he was talking about yesterday with the guy that has a story about going to a party and receiving a letter. He found the video and he wants me to show it. So this will end our stream tonight. This video is kind of creepy. I don't know if it's real or not, but it definitely gets you asking questions.
He does have the letter to prove it.
It definitely gets you asking questions. Having the letter don't mean shit. You can make the letter, but regardless, if this is true, it is one of the most interesting things I have ever listened to and or heard.
So this story is the reason I stopped making content for 5 years. You guys remember when all those Vine stars and skit Instagrammers moved to LA in like 2015-ish? So I wasn't a huge creator at the time, but I was there and around it all as all of that stuff was happening. I moved from Chicago to LA 3 weeks after high school with like $2,000 in my pocket that I saved up working at Steak and Shake with this other aspiring creator named David. I was much more into editing and being behind the camera at that time, and he was much more into Vine and vlogs and being on camera. That time of our lives was absolutely crazy. Everybody was broke, posting anything we could onto YouTube to get some attention. I happened to get a spot at the now notorious 1600 Vine Apartments, and David got a spot a little bit closer to USC. Everyone was collaborating with everyone, and it was the era of clickbait YouTube. And to be honest, it was extremely fun for the first few months, until Hollywood started to notice that influencers were the next big thing, and that the landscape of the industry was changing. And we started to get invited to more exclusive parties and events, where it seemed as if old Hollywood was almost grooming new Hollywood. And there was rumors of this one gathering that was happening on a monthly basis, where it seemed like anybody that got invited saw a massive jump in their numbers, secured huge brand deals right after attending. But apparently this gathering worked on a buddy system. Someone had to vouch for you and bring you as a guest. And by blind luck, me and David ended up getting invited. Some talent agents saw me and David shoot a silly skit at a random party. He didn't invite us that second. He just told us that he saw something special in us and took our contact information. And listen, people do that all the time in LA, but this guy had a different feel to him. He wasn't trying to convince us he had connections or hype himself up like everybody else does. He was just super calm and had a sharp way of speaking that demanded respect. He was extremely brief, and after getting our numbers, he just said, "Look out for the invite," and walked away. And this is where it gets weird. I never gave this guy my address. I only gave him my number, but I ended up getting an invitation by letter. And at the time, I thought that that was so cool. But in retrospect, as an adult looking back at it, that alone was a huge violation of privacy and a major red flag. But at the time, when I tell you I was absolutely buzzing with excitement, when I got it, the letter was so extravagant and detailed. It was gold with black and red lettering that read something like, "Your talents have been noted, your name has been endorsed, and I'll never forget this part. The dreams you've been chasing are a night away through the seventh heaven." And the address was a beautiful home in Laurel Canyon that was set to happen that weekend. It also noted to not be a minute late and not to expect to leave before midnight. And at the time, it felt like the Willy Wonka golden ticket. And the excitement doubled when I got a text from David at the same time, in all caps saying, "Did you get one too?" I felt like our lives were about to change. And I was right. David blew up after this party, and I had to go into hiding. I felt like our lives were about to change. And I was right. David blew up after this party, and I had to go into hiding. When I tell you I was on cloud 9 leading up to that party, I mean it. I was so young and naive and delusionally optimistic. I truly believed that I was going to go to this party and leave rich, because it literally seemed like that was happening to the creators around me that attended. I was hyped. I've never been a braggy person, but when you're young and excited, you get consumed by good news and want to talk to your friends and peers about it. So everybody that I chatted with who I knew was a content creator and was in the know about this party, I couldn't help but to tell them. And all the feedback was positive and along the lines of, "Let me know how it goes," or "Can you try to get me into the next one?" And even some from bigger creators saying, "I'll see you there," with like a little smirk on their face, like they were pumped for me. Except for one conversation with a creator that most of you probably know. This creator is an extremely positive guy, and he's one of the most wholesome, bubbly, genuine guys I met out there. And when I told him the good news, he looked at me like I told him a tsunami was headed towards the building. The usual joy that this man brought to every conversation turned into real fear and concern, and he made me leave the lobby and come up to his apartment before explaining anything to me, like he was scared that somebody was going to overhear our conversation. When we got up to his apartment, he was just pacing, like he had no idea how to start this conversation. But when he finally spoke up, all he said was, "Listen, Doug, I know you're excited, but I'm begging you, please do not go. That man is not who you think he is." He was being so frantic, and I could see tears welling up in this guy's eyes. But I was young, and I thought that I knew everything. I didn't even think the talent agent that sent us the invite was important. I was interested in the connections, and I didn't really care if the talent agent was shady or if his intention was to sign me to a bad deal. I thought I'd just say no to any bad contract that he tried to send me, but still get to reap all the benefits of the party. So I tried to pry a little bit and ask follow-up questions, but all he gave me was, "I have a friend who went, and he hasn't been the same since he didn't cooperate. I don't know what he saw or what they did to him, but Doug, I do not want to see that happen to you. I don't know what he saw or what they did to him, but Doug, I do not want to see that happen to you." I start reassuring him that they won't make me do anything that I don't want to do. I don't even drink, let alone take any party favors. So peer pressure isn't much of an issue for me. I make up a lie to get out of the situation because, to be honest, I selfishly wanted to stay excited about this party, and I really didn't want to hear anything negative about it. So I jokingly told him that I'd text him when I got home and that I had to leave to edit some videos tonight. What I was really doing was calling my dad to beg him for $100 to buy a rental suit. Mind you, we were all still poor, and I was living in an apartment that I could barely afford. My dad reluctantly sent me the money, and I immediately texted David to pick me up tomorrow at 5 p.m. so we could both get our suits before the party and grab food before we head to the party at 11. When David picked me up the next day, he was so excited and in such a great mood that I had to hide my concerns from him, at least while we were shopping for the rental suits. I had to manufacture excitement because David always has his camera out, and I wouldn't just be spoiling the mood, I would be ruining the content that he was trying to record. So I went along with it throughout the shopping process. Our plan was to drop his car off at my apartment, walk to the In-N-Out Burger on Sunset Boulevard, eat, and then change into our suits in the bathroom and hop into the Uber, so we didn't smell like burgers. When we finally sat down to eat, I took that opportunity to bring up the warning that my friend gave me the day before in his apartment. I told him everything that he said to me and how scared he looked when he said it, and that I was feeling a little bit worried about going to this party. David cut me off before I even got to finish my sentence and firmly said we're going, and then went on a rant about how my friend is a jealous clout chaser and that he's just salty that his content isn't good enough and would never be invited to something like this. He said it in a half serious, half joking tone like he always does when he wants to get his way. Then he finished off by guilting me and saying, "Doug, don't ruin this opportunity for us. Please just get through this party for me." I'd never heard anybody talk about my friend that way, but I'd known David for so much longer, so I trusted his judgment. So I nodded my head and called the Uber. We changed in the bathrooms and hopped into the Uber, and David starts recording again, so I have to pretend to be excited again. But once we got off the side streets and started driving up Laurel Canyon, I started getting anxious and internally panicking. If you're not familiar with Laurel Canyon, it's filled with beautiful homes, but at night it's extremely dark and borderline freaky, especially when you consider all the history with the Manson murders in that area. Part of me feels like we're dropping ourselves off into a setup, but once we arrive, all of my worries get washed away. We pull into the driveway, and this house is beautiful and extravagant, and everyone waiting in line to walk in is smiling and laughing and friendly. So I get excited again. At the door, they take our phones and have us sign an NDA, which isn't uncommon in house parties like this in LA. And they give us a mask and a name tag with funny aliases. My mask looked like a bear, and David's looked like a bird. My alias was Stardust, which David got a crack out of, and his was Banshee. We enter what you could call like the lobby of the house, and as we're walking in, the apparent host of the party starts giving a speech. This man is very eccentric and outspoken, and he's got the cadence of a late night show host. And I spot the agent that invited us standing right behind him. The speech was basically just encouraging everybody to have fun and explaining the itinerary of the night. Apparently, this was a themed room party, and all of the guests were instructed to move to the next room whenever the grandfather clock chimed. He wrapped up his speech with some cheeky joke, and then one line that still irks me to this day. He said, "Have fun now. Our descent starts at midnight." I tried to give David the eyes that I didn't like where this party was going. This type of behavior from people that I saw as adults made me extremely uncomfortable. The moment the host wrapped up his speech, a couple of workers came out of the doorway. They were holding a couple sets of long poles. All of a sudden, music started playing, and everybody seemed like they knew what was going on. So I just went along with it. So I guess these parties start off with a big game of limbo. It's funny seeing people dressed so nicely playing a silly child's game, but it's even weirder seeing A-list celebrities being so excited to play, because everybody had masks on, but when somebody that you grew up watching in movies walks by you with a quarter of their face covered, you still know it's them. I was amazed with how inviting and willing to introduce themselves these people were. I was expecting at least an undertone of uppityness in there, but it seemed like everybody was involving everybody in conversation, and they were frequently introducing themselves to me with their alias, of course. The only thing weird about it was something that I didn't notice until the third person did it. When they shook my hand, they pressed their thumb into the soft part between my thumb and my pointer finger, and I only recognized the pattern because the third guy gave me a big smile and said, "This must be your first time here." In retrospect, this should have alarmed me, but it seemed like they got friendlier when they realized that it was my first time here, so I didn't really think anything of it. But before I got to ask any follow-up questions about this odd handshake, the first grandfather clock chime went off, and everybody excitedly rushed into the second room. When I finally got in there, I was taken aback by the dramatic decor change. Everything in this room was different shades of blue. The music was romantic, and all the furniture was cabana beds and love seats. I stood there for a second trying to realize what was different, but I couldn't put my finger on it until some girl walked by and caressed my shoulder in a really flirty manner. The decor changed, but the way everybody was acting was drastically different. Before, everybody seemed to be outgoing and inviting and friendly, but the second they stepped foot into this room, they became touchy, flirty, and suggestive. I was only 19 at the time, so this type of behavior from people that I saw as adults made me extremely uncomfortable, especially when I saw that the cabana beds had curtains that you could close for privacy. And I realized that these people weren't just being suggestive, they meant it. I tried to give David the eyes that I didn't like where this party was going, but he seemed to be really enjoying the female attention, so I was on my own. I basically stayed in perpetual motion and walked laps until the next chime went off. So I didn't have to sit next to anybody for too long, and and let them get too comfortable. The clock finally went off and everybody rushed to the next room immediately. The weirdest part was the people that were in the private sections didn't even bother redressing except for the mask. I was in no rush to get to the next room, but I could see into it over the crowd of everybody's head. The walls were bright orange, but the smells that were wafting in from that room were amazing. And when I finally got in there, it was like the Hogwarts feast. It was table after table of the most delicious spreads I've ever seen. There was full tables for seafood, full tables for meats, full tables of sushi, and an entire wall of spirits. I almost started enjoying myself again. Until I saw the way these people were treating this food. They were disrespectfully biting chunks out of delicious prime rib roasts. They were just shoving copious amounts of high-grade sashimi into their mouths and eating caviar like it was cereal. The way that they were just grabbing with their hands and just spitting out things that they didn't like onto the floor ruined my appetite. At this point, I wanted nothing to do with these people. So I went up to the only familiar face in the room. The agent that invited me was the only other person not eating. So I approached him and lifted up my mask so he'd recognize me, considering we'd only met one time. Before I even got out my greeting or got my mask halfway off my face, he abruptly pressed my mask back into place and sharply said, "Mask stay on till the 6th room." He did it in a way that seemed like I was embarrassing him for not knowing the rules. So to ease the tension, I jokingly replied, "So we're only halfway there, huh?" He didn't laugh or make eye contact. He just dismissively replied, "I encourage you to engage in the festivities. A slow drip is better than a flood." He started to walk towards the door as the clock chimed for the next room, like he knew it was about to go off. I didn't like that interaction at all. He's the one that invited me here, and he seemed to have no interest in talking to me. I just kept going over what he said the entire time while we were in the next room. This room was yellow and basically just a casino. I wanted to talk to David privately and let him know that I wanted to leave, but he seemed to just be caught up in the momentum of the party. Plus, there was a roulette table in the room, and David's freakishly good at roulette. So at this point, the winning streak that he's building is the center point of the party. I can't fully focus on what the agent said to me because I have to pretend to be excited about David's winning streak in a fake casino where you're not actually winning money. And like clockwork, the chime goes off. The entire party starts rushing to the next room again, and the vibe changes dramatically. I'm the last person to walk into the bright red room. This room didn't seem to have a specific activity like the others. It was just empty and bright red, and everybody was whispering to each other. For a split second, I thought it might be a big game of telephone or something silly like that, but as I started walking through and brushing shoulders with these people and hearing what they were saying to each other, I started questioning everything. The same people that I saw laughing and celebrating and eating together were whispering the most heinous, offensive comments directly to each other. I mean, things that you wouldn't even say behind your friend's back, they were saying it to their face. I'm talking friendship-ending secrets and personal opinions about each other laced with envy and jealousy. I hurried to a quiet corner because I was sick of hearing everybody's dirty laundry after walking around for a minute and a half, and it all clicked. I knew exactly what this party was. I see the host ask the first person in line a question before having them repeat something that he said. When I tell you I am done with this party, I'm absolutely not doing that. All the dots start connecting in my head while everybody's being horrible to each other around me. I'm trying to recap the whole night and remember the order of each room to solidify my suspicions, but the chime for the next room goes off. This time, everybody gets eerily quiet and calm, like they got all of their venom out. The host of the party announces for all of the newcomers to come to the front. All of the attendees form a single file line in front of the next room's door. There's about 10 other newcomers in front of me and David, and the agent that invited us is standing to the left of the door, and the host of the party is standing to the right. The host has a pile of books on the table next to him. I see the host ask the first person in line a question and then grab a book based on his answer. He would present the book to the person and place a diamond-shaped metal symbol on top of it before having them repeat something that he said. Then he'd take their mask off and let them enter the next room. I couldn't make out exactly what he was doing until there was only 2 people ahead of me in line. The books were Bibles, Qurans, Torahs, and so on. He would ask the person, "And which one is yours?" Whichever they chose, he'd grab it and place the metal symbol on top of it. He'd have you put your hand on top of the metal symbol and then repeat, "I am my own God. I bow to nobody but myself." When I tell you I am done with this party, and I whip my head around and I tell David I am absolutely not doing that. David whispered back in a joking tone like he always does, "Dude, it's just a party. Who cares? I'll see you in the next room." And he skipped me in line to show me that he'd do it first to make me feel more comfortable. He went through with it and giggled his way into the next room. It was my turn, so I tried to play it cool and whisper to the host, "Do you mind if I skip this part? It's making me a little bit uncomfortable." I thought he'd subtly break character and reassure me that this is just a party theme and it's all good. Instead, he whispered back to me in a really kind tone, "Of course, man, don't worry about it. Just take your mask off and turn around." I was relieved for about a split second before the agent that invited me here, grabbed my arm and started guiding me towards the exit. And I see that everybody that was behind me in line is staring at me straight-faced. I look back at the host and he's standing up and loudly shouts like he's starting a chant. The price was not paid. And then everybody in line that was staring at me chants in unison like they knew exactly what to do. Remove the profane. And they repeat it over and over until I'm through the exit door. The price was not paid. Remove the profane. The price was not paid. Remove the profane. So the agent just walks me to the closest door. He doesn't even walk me to the front of the party and out the front door. He just puts me out into the backyard. It's 4 a.m. My friend's still inside. I don't have my phone. So I decide to walk around the right side of the house because that's where all of the party attendees were kind of headed. Let me see if I could peek in and maybe flag down David to let him know I got kicked out. And there's some windows to the next room. But of course, these windows are like big church stained glass windows. And you can't really see through stained glass windows like the colored ones. But if you go really, really close and you look through the white parts, you could kind of see clearly what is on the inside. And this room is like a bizarre church replica without all of the seating. It's just a big church-like room. And all of the people that were in there had their masks off. And it was like a big circle and almost looked like an initiation. And all of these celebrities are standing around in a circle around the other 9 new people. It was 10 excluding me. And there was big TV grade cameras recording, and it looked like the group of celebrities and everybody else that was there was kind of cheering them on. But then there was clearly people in there that were much more serious and kind of threatening, and the 10 new people were in the middle of this room being forced to do horrible things that I wish I could unsee. And the new people clearly didn't want to do these things. They were being forced to do these things. And they were clearly recording it. And I see my friend being forced to do these horrible things in front of these people and in front of these cameras. I just start panicking. I don't know what to do. So in my head, I'm like, I just need to get out of here. So I start speed walking to the front of the house. And I'm thinking, I need to get out of this gate. There's only one street. We're on Laurel Canyon. So it's either I go left and start running towards Studio City, or I go right and start running towards West Hollywood. I'm not about to go knock on other people's doors. I'm just trying to get back to civilization. And I'm trying to remember if we're closer to Studio City or if we're closer to West Hollywood. I don't even know. As I get to the front of the house, one of the employees is standing.
If you only do one thing to kick off 2026, let it be this. Become a FORA advisor. When I moved to Italy,
and he's standing in front of a car and he has my phone. I'm not sure if he knows that I just saw everything. So I'm kind of standing there deer in headlights, but he just politely goes, here's your phone and here's your ride. Don't worry, the driver will take you home. So I take my phone and I sit in the car and I'm trying to gauge to see if this driver has any malicious intent, but he doesn't seem to. And within the first 3 minutes, I know that they don't think I saw anything. They were just getting my stuff prepared and my car prepared to take me home because they're under the impression that I didn't see anything too bad. And I got kicked out before any horrible things started happening to people inside of this party. So I get in the car and I'm checking my phone, and my phone was fully charged when I got here. So I don't know what they did, but my phone won't turn on. I have to sit through this 30-minute car ride. One of my best friends is back at this party getting mistreated and recorded doing horrible things, and I can't tell anybody. So I get through this 30-minute horrible suspense-filled car ride thinking about all of the people that were so nice to me inside of this party, and the whole intent of this party was to butter me up to get me to do these horrible things. And when I finally get back to my apartment, I run upstairs, I plug my phone into the charger, and the first texts that come through are from my friend Joe. And I completely forgot that my friend Joe was coming to visit me. He was coming on a little mini vacation, and I was going to play tour guide and show him around the city. So now I'm thinking I only have like 4.5 hours to sleep before I have to go pick up my friend from the airport. And I still don't know if my other friend is okay. So I'm blowing up David's phone because he's still at this party, but I set a timer so I get to the airport to pick up my other friend. So I barely get any sleep. I drive to LAX to go pick up Joe, and I drive him back to my apartment. And when I'm coming back into my apartment, David's in the lobby and he's talking to some other big creators, like bouncing video ideas. It's like 9:30, 10 a.m. at this point. So everybody's just kind of having coffee by the cafe and chatting. I tell Joe to go upstairs to my apartment and drop off his luggage. And I go ask David if I could talk to him really quick. I'm clearly very distressed and he's being very jokey with me. And he doesn't seem like anything bad happened. And he's just kind of making fun of me for getting kicked out of the party. I'm just letting him talk for a little bit. And I finally tell him I was looking out his window. I saw what they made him do. And I was just asking him if he's okay. And the second I said that, he immediately switched on me. And he started damn near cussing me out and saying friendship ending things. And his eyes turned from happy and giddy to filled with almost fear and a little bit of betrayal. When he stormed off, he pulled out his phone and he was calling somebody as if he was like reporting something back to them. I immediately start freaking out. I assume that he's telling them. that I saw what they did. And now I have my friend upstairs who thinks he's just on vacation when I just saw hyper successful, rich people doing unspeakable acts, and they have all of the resources to come after me. They know where I live, and David isn't even on my side because the dirt that they have on him now. I have to pretend that everything's okay to Joe because he flew all the way out here for a vacation, and I don't even really know how bad the situation is. I don't even know how to tell him about everything that happened the night before. And I promised Joe that we're going to go to Runyon Canyon this morning. So he goes and changes into hiking gear, and I drive him over to Runyon Canyon. We do the hike for a few hours, and when we come back and I check my mail, there's another letter from these people, and I take it to the bathroom because I don't even want Joe to see it. And it's a screenshot of the surveillance footage of me looking in through the window and a little handwritten note, just a reminder of the worst mistake you've ever made. Curiosity killed the cat. And I start freaking out. I know that David just betrayed me and told them that I saw, and now they have proof that I saw. Now I'm just a walking liability to them, and now they're threatening me and that was the worst mistake that I've ever made and insinuating that curiosity killed the cat. I'm the cat, but it's still not enough to tell Joe about what happened. So I just go on with this charade, and I'm just playing tourist, bringing my friend around the city. And the first day, nothing happened. And to this day, I firmly believe that the only reason they didn't do anything to me is because Joe was there with me that whole week, and he had just finished the police academy, and he was officially a police officer. So I think me being with him is the only thing that kept me safe, because they weren't willing to do anything to a police officer. And I knew for sure they were keeping an eye on me the next day, because Joe asked me the night before if I had half and half for our coffees the next morning, and I didn't have any half and half. And he just jokingly said, who has coffee and doesn't have half and half? It was a conversation in passing. It was a joke. And the next morning we woke up and there was a full half and half in my fridge. And the only reason I noticed that is because Joe said, thanks for running out early and grabbing half and half. You didn't have to do that. I was kidding. I didn't go and grab that half and half. I knew that somebody was not only listening, but entered my apartment that night while we were sleeping. And then they started to do these things that only I would notice. Things that if you told anybody, they would look at you like you were crazy. Each night that we came home and we were just winding down and watching TV, I would go to turn my TV on and the remote control wouldn't work. And I would check the batteries, and the batteries would be switched from positive to negative and negative to positive. Like they came into my house and just flipped my batteries. I know that my remote control worked the day before, and they just needed me to know that they were in my house and flipped my batteries, just to let me know that they were invading my privacy on a daily basis. And then it started escalating to when I would take Joe to lunch, or we would pop to the grocery store, or we would go to the movies, and we would come back to the car and my left blinker would be on. They would just open my car and put it down. And every time we would come back to the car, my left turning signal would be on. It happened like 6 times. How can I tell anybody that somebody broke into my car and turned my left signal down? It's something that only I would notice. And I can't tell Joe because I'm not trying to scare him. And it's also something that I don't even think he would take seriously. He would probably say, you probably hit it down when you were stepping out of the car. And then things started to pick up. They started to do very specific things to me that weren't just by chance. We came home one day and I locked the door behind me like I was doing every time because I was super, super paranoid. My apartment door lock just locked swiftly. My apartment door lock doesn't lock swiftly. I would have to like press into it and jiggle it and force it to lock. And it's been like that since I moved in. And it had this sharp little nub on the front that I would feel with my thumb every single day. And one of the days we came home and it just smoothly locked and the nub wasn't there. So they were letting me know that I can't even lock them out. But how do I tell anybody that they're doing this to me? Because they would just say the apartment was probably aware of it and changed it. And I still wasn't able to tell Joe because I would think that he would come to the same conclusion. But then the next day we go to the car to go to breakfast and we get into my old car that I've had for 5 or 6 years at the time. And I grab my gear shifter and I go to pull it into reverse and it smoothly goes from park to reverse. And my gear shifter doesn't smoothly go from park to reverse. You have to wiggle it in a certain way. You have to press the button with your thumb in a certain way to get it into reverse. I only know this because I drove this car every single day for 5 years, and this gear shifter is pretty much broken. It's an old car. And that morning I got into my car and it smoothly went from park to reverse, and the wooden finish on the gear shifter was different. Mine had scratches on it and this one was brand new. So they were telling me not only are they able to just break into my car and turn the left signal down, they're also willing to manipulate my car. Now I know for sure Joe isn't safe either, and me not telling him these things puts him into danger because I'm driving him around in this car. And if they could change my gear shifter, why wouldn't they be able to cut my brakes? So I basically just break down and I have to tell Joe everything from start to finish about this weird party with this weird agent and the little things that I've been noticing all week, and that this was the last straw. And Joe believed me because we used to drive around in my car together all of the time, and sometimes he would drive my car. And he made me promise that I did not get that fixed. The gear shifter was still broken yesterday and it's fixed today, and I didn't do that. So that won him over, and he basically said, we need to get out of here. It shook him too. He didn't like the idea of these people in the house. When I told him I didn't get the half and half, when I told him all of these things that were adding up over the last couple days, it freaked him out. He's like, bro, we got to go back to your apartment. We got to get your stuff. We got to get you out of here. Then my entire world is shattering. I moved out here and all of these things were going great for me. And I had a place and I had friends and I didn't want to leave. Maybe the stuff will die out. I'll be able to work with other people. It's going to be okay. I don't want to just leave my apartment, leave all my stuff. But Joe insisted that we went back to my apartment to grab his stuff and mine and then go stay at a motel before he leaves the next day. And when we got to my apartment, David was in the lobby with other creators by the cafe again. And I went up to him. I didn't really have any idea about what I was going to say to him. All he did was hand me a coffee, ignore everything that I said, and walk away. But then when I looked at the coffee, it had a little napkin wrapped around it. I saw that something was written in Sharpie on the napkin. It said, "I'm so sorry. You have to leave tomorrow with him. Otherwise, it's me and you." And I went upstairs and I packed a couple backpacks and I left LA the next morning with my friend and I never went back. Joe and I rushed out of that city as fast as we could. I packed as much of my stuff as I could and we just started driving. We were both genuinely scared for our safety at that point. So we decided to skip Joe's scheduled flight and just drive to Las Vegas. And then we were just going to fly home from there. There was something that just felt comforting about being out of the state. Not to mention, Joe wanted a real briefing about what went down, because I had just basically told him the cliff notes and begged him to believe me so that we could pick up and leave as soon as possible. For the first 2 hours of the drive, we primarily kept our heads on a swivel and just made sure that we didn't take any wrong turns to further extend this trip. There were a few cars that made me feel like we were being followed, but it was just my paranoia enhancing an A-type personality driver into a stalker. Once we were out of California's state lines and into Nevada, we could both finally exhale. I felt real relief wash over me for the first time since I got kicked out of that party. We stopped about 15 minutes into Nevada at a pit stop. We used their Wi-Fi to book a hotel for Vegas that night, along with the plane tickets for the next morning. Once we had our escape plan fully booked, Joe just started laughing and I couldn't help but just start laughing too. We shared a lot of crazy stories growing up and we always seemed to find ourselves in sticky situations together. So it was just hilarious that his fun trip to visit me turned into this. It felt really good to laugh about it because it made me feel like it was finally over. We got back into the car to continue our drive and Joe playfully said, "So you have 1 hour to explain to me why we're fleeing Los Angeles over some half and half and a gear shifter before we get to Vegas and we make this trip worth it." I realized how bizarre this whole situation must have looked from his perspective. He flew in for a fun vacation and arrived to see his friend in a crisis. As I started to explain to him the series of events, things really started to click for me, especially with his input as a police officer. I'm going to recap some of the events that I had already explained, but with the conclusions that we came to together. Clearly, the man that invited us to the party was a predator, and we were just perfect targets for him. We were young kids with enough of a following on socials to influence all of the other young creators in the area. We had just made a major change in our life by moving across the country, and we were completely isolated from our families who we could consult with about important decision making. And we were in a bad financial situation because at the time, just having a following on the internet didn't equal revenue. We were perfect targets to be indoctrined into a system where they could have full control over our budding careers. And apparently that's exactly what cult-like communities look for potential members. Not to mention, we were in LA trying to make a career in entertainment, and it seemed like they held the key to our dreams. As I was explaining to Joe the invitation and how it showed up to my house, we came to the conclusion that this guy approaching us at that party was not a coincidence. He had to have been scouting us prior to the time that I thought that we just met by chance. The party itself was a trap as well. When I finally had the chance to process what he said to me about the slow drip is better than a flood, it really started to make sense. Each room was designed to slowly introduce you into giving into temptation and sin. Everybody there being so nice and inviting was clearly on purpose. Seeing all of these people that you've looked up to for years indulging in these temptations of each room and inviting you to join in with them is perfect peer pressure. You don't want to let your idols down, so you voluntarily engage in an activity in each room that just gets progressively worse and worse. And of course, they start with flirtiness and overeating delicious food. And of course, spirits, because those things are so easy to give into. But the temptations of the night keep getting worse as you go on. He wanted me to feel the slow drip, so when it was time to commit the heinous acts of the 6th room, it didn't feel like a flood. It's clear why they kicked me out when they did. I wasn't indulging the way everybody else had. And when it came to the time to defame my religion, it was the last straw. Most people, like myself, would think it was just part of the party theme. But to them, it's the test to see if you're broken down enough to defame your religion for the fun of the party. That's why the 6th room was the flood. It was dramatically worse than the rooms that I had experienced. And the only way somebody would give into the peer pressure to do what they were doing in that room is them being primed to do so with everything that happened before and had just spoken the words that they're not God-fearing. I realized that the people that would go to that party didn't just blow up overnight because of the power of that little cultish group. They scouted young creators creators like myself and David, who they believed were going to blow up regardless of their help, and get them to commit heinous acts on camera. So when they did eventually blow up, they had the perfect blackmail on them to control them. They would try to get to you early, so before you were making money independently, so that they could control you. Because if you were already established and wealthy, why would you even care about going to a party like this? You just don't care. It's too late for them to infiltrate your life. Do they help you with big collaborations? Yeah, but these collaborations are built off of fear and trauma. That's how they keep their group so tight. You can't get into this group unless you also do these horrible things. They kicked me out and let me leave because they thought I actually didn't see anything too bad. From the outside perspective, I had just gone to a cool A-list party in a beautiful home filled with beautiful people and amazing food. I couldn't say anything bad about it publicly without sounding bitter that I got kicked out. That's how groups like this need to operate. From the outside looking in, it has to look amazing and wonderful to be a part of. From the inside, they need blackmail that's so bad on you that you can never speak out against it without getting your reputation destroyed. It made sense why they went after me the way they did. They need to do things to me that only I would notice because they couldn't be seen openly harassing. It would make them look bad. So they had to infiltrate my privacy and scare me secretly. I still don't know how far they would have gone to get me to leave the city, if they would get violent or try to get me to fall victim to an accident. But they wanted to scare me out of the city. And I thought back to my very kind friend that warned me about this part and how secretive he was being about how much he knew about it. He couldn't just openly say how weird those people were because it would make him a target. He just knew that if he kindly declined their offers and acted like he knew nothing about them, he could go about pursuing his career unbothered. And it really made sense why they would target potential big creators as well. Because if the kid with the most clout is a part of this group and the only way to collaborate with him was to go through the same indoctrination, they would be able to control an entire generation of creators. To be honest, they're very good at what they do. There was a clear system that they followed, and the way that they approached harassing me out of the city, it was done at a professional level. Joe told me that it's called gang stalking, and that most of the time it actually isn't happening. And what I mean by that is most of the time that somebody reports that a crime like this is being committed, it's actually a paranoid schizophrenic having an episode. So they harass you in a way that even the police department would consider it a mental disorder, opposed to gang stalking. Everything about the way these people operate is cult-like, and everything that they do is intentional. I was never even a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but my perspective on show business in Hollywood completely changed on the way to Vegas. All the dots connected, and I saw how truly evil some people in that industry actually are. And when I got to Vegas, I started to see how openly they show it. I know I've spent this whole time talking about how secret and exclusive this party was, and how everybody that knows about it has their lips zipped shut, but when we had arrived at our hotel near the strip, I started looking around at the big signs and promotions, and they really don't hide it. There was cultish symbolism in all of the music, live performances, and movie trailers. What used to look like just cool designs and eccentric artists was blatant symbolism for what was actually going on. I will never look at showbiz the same after that. I'm extremely happy being an independent artist, safe in the middle of the country, away from those cultish hedonists. I never received another letter or heard from David again, but what I can tell you is that everybody that was affiliated with that group became massively famous, but everybody involved fell as hard as they ascended and have had even more massive controversies. And to anybody pursuing a life in the arts or social media, do not fall into this trap. They will promise you everything that you've ever wanted, but they'll take it away whenever they please. And I promise you will hurt the people around you in the process. Welcome to the society. Guys, if you enjoyed this story and you want to watch more, I have plenty of full stories and episodes on the channel. We have the Stairs, the Giggler, and we got a couple more coming. So if you haven't subscribed already, I would deeply appreciate if you did. Of course, like this video. I'm an independent artist, so your likes and subscribes and comments mean way more to me than they would to a cultish hedonist. Thank you.
Yeah, crazy story. Definitely like it. He was like, knows it so well that he really makes it seem like it happened. So I'm really torn between this one because, you know, like, it's a wonderful content farm if you're good at lying about certain things, but if you're being truthful, you know, somebody like him, he seemed to recall literally every memory from the party. And it didn't seem like he struggled to remember it. It wasn't like he was making it up on the spot. He like knew what he was going to talk about. So that's why that video gets me, is because it's just like, shit.
Well, and also, like, he actually does show the letter.
Yeah.
And from what it said, right, in the letter, is matches what he says in that video. And
right.
how it looks matches how he described it. And he even says, "This is the address." ...
Right.
You know, where it was located, but I guess I don't remember if he blurred out the address or whatever.
He probably
Like
did.
to go look. But yeah, and that David guy is real.
Well, yeah, I think it's David Dobrik.
David Dobrik.
Do you not know who David Dobrik is?
Uh-uh.
I think that's who he's talking about. But I obviously I can only think, and that's all alleged because he never said who actually he was talking to.
Right.
But here I will pull up for you David Dobrik so you can see who he is. This is David Dobrik. Famous YouTuber, 17.2 million followers.
Is he also a Vine artist?
He was on Vine, yes.
Okay, so that must have been him.
Well, we don't know for sure,
Right.
but this is the only David I think of when I think of a young creator that made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's all alleged. It's all rumor.
Yeah.
But anyways, tonight has been freaking crazy and very interesting, full of highlights, full of occultish crap, full of music industry, all the way down to a mysterious letter that haunts your dreams. This shit was crazy, and we got more coming, guys. So get ready, because after Sunday is going to be Sunday is going to be our Artemis podcast. So we're going to go over all this alleged moon stuff that's been going on, that they so conveniently did on April Fool's Day. Sent a manned spacecraft to go around the moon on April Fool's Day. Okay, yeah. You ain't doing nothing, guy. You didn't go to the moon. You didn't even fly around the moon. Fuck you. Fuck you, liars. Basically, we're going to look at it. You don't do that on April Fool's Day if you're going to do it. And I thought about that the other day. I was like, how stupid does NASA think we are?
Right.
They did it on April Fool's Day. Out of all days that they could do it, April Fool's Day. Yeah, okay, whatever. Fuck NASA. They're not a space agency. That's what it stands for. Not a space agency. Because they were formed for the ocean, not for space. And everybody knows that. At least you should. But anyways, guys, that's going to be the show for tonight. And we'll see you on Sunday for the Artemis podcast. Anyways, crew, what is this?
This is the Robert Crew Show Venmo link to where if you'd like to, not a have to, donate so that way we can get stuff for the podcast or so we can get travel costs for the podcast so we can go travel anywhere and everywhere only for the podcast. Anything and everything for this podcast or Venmo link is only for the what, Robert?
Podcast. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm going to leave y'all with my new graphic. Check this out. I like it. I created it. I used Grok. Yeah, it's AI. Who cares? But it's wonderful. Good night, Julie. Good night, everybody. Peace out from the Robert and Crew Show.
And share the show.
Yeah, always share the show. That's our favorite form of currency. Share the show.